What's going on, guys? So today I want to take you through a little bit more about liquidation arbitrage. I'm on my way to the post office to drop off a bunch of orders now. Got like 6-7 of them here, and it's probably about $50 to $70 profit or so. So this is a typical day for me for my reselling business, whether I'm sourcing cashback arbitrage, coupon arbitrage, or liquidation arbitrage, which we're going to talk about today. Okay, so I want to basically break it down because I get a lot of questions about this, and people are always like, how should I approach liquidation? Should I source it for Amazon? Should I source it for other sites like eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari? And it really depends. So I want to break down not only my business strategy with liquidation and how I approach it, because I've been moving heavily into a lot more liquidation inventory like recently, and it's been working very well for me, but I also want to kind of talk about the numbers behind it, and I'll simulate some examples of pallets that I bought and how much you can expect to make on them. So I'm going to run you through one of my favorite liquidation sites, and that is 888 Lots. Now, you can buy individual stuff on 888 Lots and literally do the product research yourself, like you were going to sell it back on Amazon, or you can buy lots and pallets of items super cheap. But before I run you through both of those and how to actually operate on this site, I want to take you through the business model, because a lot of people have this notion that they're going to, buy liquidation pallets or buy liquidation and flip them back online, and it's going to happen overnight. And it is, obviously, you're getting great ROIs. It's an investment, though. It is a business, okay? So I want to go through the business model so you understand, to curb your expectations. It's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen if you're patient, if you know where to sell them, and if you know how to price your inventory and what to expect out of it, okay? So first and foremost, where can you resell these liquidation pallets for a profit? Well, I mainly sell them back on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. Now, you can sell them on Amazon as well, but it does, obviously, that item you have to make sure matches the product detail page entirely. So two things about that. You can either source individual items and check the ASINs, I'll show you that here in a second, and see if there's a profit to resell them back on Amazon. Or you can buy a liquidation pallet, and some of those items might have corresponding ASINs on Amazon, which you can then resell back online for a profit. Now, the majority of the items in most of the pallets, at least in my experience and what I've seen on this site and a lot of the other sites, aren't going to have profitable Amazon products, although you are getting great quality inventory with the Amazon listing. So you can take the Amazon product pictures and the description. You don't need to create your own description or take any new high quality images, right? You're already getting the high quality images from that actual pallet and those actual Amazon listings. So they don't have profitable high selling Amazon listings, but you can take those items that you're getting for like 50 cents or $1.50 or like $3 depending on the pallet that you're getting, and resell them back on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari for a ridiculously high profit margin. I've started to scale this up, and I've really started to notice that this is not a game, this is not a trick. This can be turned into a legitimate business, but you have to know how to operate it. So let's touch a little bit more about the nitty-gritty and how to actually do so. So, how do you want to approach this, okay? This is not short term. This is not, some hack or trick, okay? You are building an actual reselling business when you're buying liquidation, okay? You also have to think about an inventory system. I've already made an inventory system video. I'll drop that as a card up in the right-hand corner if you want to check it out, and I'll also link it in the description below. You want some inventory system if you're planning on scaling up on any of these other sites that aren't Amazon. If you're shipping into FBA, you don't really need an inventory system, obviously, because you can leverage their warehouse and their distribution. But if you're selling back on eBay, Poshmark, or Mercari, if you plan on scaling, you want to get organized, because if you're not organized in the beginning, you're not going to be organized with hundreds or thousands of units on those sites when you're actually fully scaled, okay? You also want to think of buying, whether you're buying liquidation or buying bulk or buying anything, right? Buying coupon products or cashback products to resell on these sites. Think of it as an investment into your business. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to spend $150 on a pallet and then get that $150 back within a day or two, right? It's an investment into a legitimate business you're building in an actual reselling business, right? So I'm going to run you through two examples here. Let's say hypothetically that, these are two examples of typical ways that I approach pallets and how I typically sell them, and the numbers here, right? So you have, legitimate expectations on how much you can spend on a pallet, how many items you're getting, what your profit per item is going to potentially be, and how it actually unfolds, okay? So let's hypothetically say, with example number one, you buy a lot of 95 items off 888 Lots or any of the other liquidation sites that I cover. I've covered many of them. Check the liquidation playlist if you want in-depth tutorials of how to buy buy liquidation pallets from liquidation sites, okay? I'll drop that up in the right-hand corner right now and also link it in the description below. So that is approximately $263 per unit. What you want to do is list them on all platforms, so that's Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. Now, we're not, the Amazon thing, just to get it out of the way really fast, if you're buying pallets, the same thing goes with pallets, because it's going to show you the breakdown of each individual pallet. So let's click on a pallet right here, just to kind of show you. And this is strictly with 888 lots. It's probably my favorite liquidation site. So if you scroll down, it's going to give you the ASIN of everything and you know, obviously all the details. So the same goes when you're looking into pallets as well. Now, if you want to go to individual items and sort through and look at the individual items, it's going to tell you the price that it costs you. You're going to be able to go to the Amazon listing and check it out to see if it's profitable. This one doesn't have one. That's a bad example, but you get the picture. And it's also going to tell you, you know, all the information so that you know if it's profitable on Amazon and if you want to ship it directly from 888 into Amazon, right? Or if you want to get it first and list it merchant fulfilled or whatever you want to do. So I don't typically do that, although you can. I've been kind of moving towards reselling my own, you know, building my own reselling business on Amazon, Poshmark, eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. Although you can source for Amazon, I just typically have moved away from that. I source more bulk deal, I source more books, I source more wholesale for Amazon and FBA. I've moved a lot of the cashback, the coupon, and the liquidation to my own distribution on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. That's how I approach it. You don't have to approach it that way, but that's what's working for me very well currently, okay? So like I said, you want to list them on all platforms. You want to list them on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. What I recommend that you do is hop on a multi-channel listing software like List Perfectly. It's going to charge you monthly, whether that's, depending on the plan, whether that's 20, 40, or whatever, right? It's a lot better. Now, you don't have to if you don't want to, if you're just starting out and you don't want to drop, you know, money on software like that, then you can do it manually. Just obviously copy and paste those listings in there. Just keep in mind that you definitely want an inventory system so you can delete them off of the other platforms once you obviously sell it. Let's say hypothetically it sells on eBay. You want to delete that same listing off eBay and Poshmark as well, or off Mercari and Poshmark, because you don't want somebody buying it on that site and then you not having it and having to cancel orders, okay? Canceling orders isn't that serious on Poshmark and Mercari, although eventually it will get your account shut down if you cancel too many too quickly. On eBay, they take it very, very seriously. So you need to take it seriously too. That's also why I recommend having an inventory system, okay? So you want to cross-post whether you do it manually. I recommend that you do it with a List Perfectly. It's great software. It not only will it cross-post just by posting once, so it'll post to all those platforms, but it'll also manage your inventory and delete the ones off the other ones for you as well, so you don't have to worry about that, okay? Now, let's say hypothetically with this lot that you spent, you know, $263 a unit, you have 95 items now, and you've listed them across all platforms. It costed you $250. So let's say hypothetically 12 or 20 items sell within the first 2 weeks of listing, right? And this is typically, you know, these are not, you know, concrete numbers, but this is typically how I see lots selling and how quickly they move, assuming you're buying decent lots and decent products. One example of a horrible lot that I bought was like $350 on like 150 units or something like that, and I was like, I scored big. But it was like housewares, and it was like old housewares, and nobody bought them. They sold super slow and for super low profit margins. So if you're buying clothes or you're buying things that should be in demand on multiple platforms, then obviously that goes without saying. If you're willing to spend a little bit more, even if it's like $3 to $5 a unit potentially on these liquidation sites, you're going to have more higher in-demand products. But just like I said, do your research and you'll start to know it. And just even if you buy a pallet, you're getting super cheap stuff, you're going to have quality inventory that will sell eventually. So my rule of thumb is go after clothing, go after shoes, go after things in high demand, go after jeans. You can find a lot of those and top brands, especially on liquidation sites. So let's say 20 of those items sell within the first 2 weeks. Of listing all 95 for an average of $8 profit. Now you have $160 profit because you netted $8 profit off those items. Maybe they sold for like 15 or 20 or 7, and then after fees you averaged out to over $8 or about $8 profit. So now you have $160 back on the $250 that you spent. You're $90 in the hole currently, right? So maybe after the entirety of the first month after listing them, then you sell 20 more of them, and a lot of your higher end stuff, because you priced high and you waited, sold for an average profit of $12, right? So you have 20 more now that sold. Now you have 40 sold in general, and now you have 240 from the second 20. So now in total you have $400. Now you're netted $150 profit margin, right? So it took you a month. You had to wait a month to get there. It didn't happen overnight. You spent $250. You made 400 back. Now you have $150 profit in the month. Oh, and by the way, you still have 55 items of your inventory to still sell for a profit. Okay, so it does not happen overnight. This is a business. It's a great business model, but you have to be patient. You want to think of it as an investment into your inventory and into your business. One key thing that I see a lot of people making is do not price yourself out of your profit. Okay, don't drop your prices too quickly. Don't be impatient. Be patient and don't price yourself out of profit. List high. This is a formula that works for me all the time. List high. So let's say maybe the retail value is $40. List it at 50. Slowly build interest. Depending on the platform, maybe that's sharing on Poshmark. Maybe that's promoting to site-wide on Mercari. Maybe that's relisting or accumulating likes or watchers on eBay, right? So list high, build interest, and then make offers to simulate urgency and value in order to sell more, okay? Now, I have videos on all of those platforms down in the description, how to sell more on eBay, how to sell more on Poshmark, how to sell more on Mercari, and how to sell more on Amazon. If you want to check out any of those videos, they are linked down at the bottom of the description. Watch, literally put them all and watch later. Watch them all. They will help you sell more on those platforms. It's all the strategies that I use to do so. Now, one thing that I will say is people are always like, well, all 95 of those items won't sell. And that could be very true, right? It might take a year for all 95 of them to sell. Maybe you're, 40 of them in demand sold really quickly. And then maybe in the next month, only 20 more items sell, right? Now you sold 60, but maybe then you're up $500 on the pallet. And then slowly what it will be is as the rest of those items sell, maybe you have, 34 more now or 35 more now? So maybe those sell slowly, but you're already profited $500 and it's a steady drip of cash flow, okay? It's a business. Think of it as a business. Now, let's go through another example. These are a little bit higher end clothing. This is one that I actually just recently bought. Not same exact numbers, but pretty close to it. So you buy a lot of 30 items. I think these were jeans, if I'm not mistaken. So $155 for 30 items, which is about $517 per unit. And they were top brand jeans. So you want to list them on all platforms, just like I said, cross-post, whether you want to do it manually or with a List Perfectly software like that's multi-channel listing and manages your inventory. Let's hypothetically say that 4 of those sold in the first week for an average profit of $17 per item. So now I have $68 back on my $155 after the first week. Then 15 more sell in the entirety of the first month. So average profit of those were about $15. Now I have $225 plus $68. So if we take $225 plus $68 and we take the difference on the $155, I'm netting $138 after the first month on this pallet, okay? Now, I had to wait a month to get there, to recap. I also now still have 11 items in my inventory that will sell slowly, whether they sell within the next week, whether they sell within the next month, whether they sell within the next year, it doesn't matter, because I have them free in my inventory now, listed on the platforms, so when they sell, it will be a steady drip of cash flow, and I'm already profitable, okay? So, it doesn't happen overnight. It is a business. Think of it as an investment into inventory. Again, don't price yourself out of profit. Don't price yourself out of profit. If you appreciate that message, drop it in the comment section down below so the people watching this are reminded not to drop their prices too fast. Be patient and don't price yourself out of profit, okay? List high, build interest, make offers to simulate urgency and value, and then you will sell more, okay? So that's the nitty-gritty of the business model. Now, I'd recommend that you check out 888 lots. You can see the value right here just on the fixed price lots. I haven't even gotten into like building your own lots or checking out any of the other lots. You can kind of do that yourself. It's pretty self-explanatory. But just look at right here, 93 cents per unit, $28 right here for 30 units. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty solid fixed price box, okay? Now these are obviously women's, you have to do a little bit of research on the actual product. So whether they're jeans, whether they're like women's clothes, whether they're men's clothes, whether they're shoes, you might want to check into the platform and look at the competition on that platform for those specific brands. But if you're getting stuff super cheap like this, I mean $190 per unit for 41 units. What was the other one? 93 per unit for 30 units. I mean, guys, the profit margins here are ridiculous. So I hope you do this. Don't just take my word for it. You don't need to spend a lot of money initially. You don't need to go out and drop $1,000 on this. Literally test it out for yourself, right? I think the minimum that you can order on 888 lots, and there is a minimum order quantity and a minimum order pricing on a lot of these liquidation sites, Also, key factor is you do need a reseller's permit. So if you need to know how to get a reseller's permit, comment below and I'll help you out and direct you in the right way to get a reseller's permit. It's not very hard, but you do need a reseller's permit. And then basically you're away, right? You don't have to spend $1,000 on inventory. Test it out, buy one pallet, list it. You will see, maybe in the first week, you're going to be like, Brian's full of shit. This doesn't work. I've only sold one thing. I'm losing money. But then as the first month goes by, you're going to be like, holy shit, I'm profitable, and I still have a bunch of items left in my inventory. And it will inspire you once you see the numbers. And remember, track everything. Once you see the numbers and that the numbers are working for you and you're profitable, it will inspire you to scale it up, turn it into a full-time business, and then you too can also scale a reselling business right from your home and your laptop. So, hope you liked the video. This business model is real, guys, but you have to be patient. If you appreciate the value in this video, please give it a like. I genuinely appreciate it, and it goes a long way to help the video rank in the algorithm on YouTube. Also, drop a comment down below. Let me know if you have any experience with liquidation or 888 lots in general, and if so, what has been your experience? And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.